Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of With All Due Respect. I am your host, Ryan Shead. This is my co-host, Marcus. How are you doing, brother?
Pretty good, brother, as always. How about you?
Yeah, man. I don't think we're ever going to have a show where we don't have like 3 pages worth of stories to get through in 45 minutes or an hour. So
probably not going to happen, man.
Yeah,
it's too much going on. Not while this administration's in office.
Yeah, I miss the days of waking up and not having to worry about the president, destroying everything.
You get the headlines inside of 20 minutes and you're off with your day,
Yep. The worst thing they could say was Joe Biden looked sleepy. Okay, well put his ass back to sleep and let's keep the country running.
I like being bored with what the president was up to and not having to worry about it.
Me too.
The days when we had Barack Obama and the biggest scandal they could come up with was he wore a tan suit. I miss those days.
Yep. Or Michelle Obama with the sleeveless dress.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bearing arms.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, now we have never mind, I'm not going to say it. But look, we do have some breaking news going on before we get into the show. The Federal Reserve, or the Fed, has cut interest rates by another 1/4 point. Federal Reserve lowered interest rates at its second consecutive meeting on Wednesday, extending an effort to prevent a recent slowdown in hiring from turning into something more serious. The latest 1/4 point cut will reduce the Fed's benchmark short-term interest rate to a range between 3.75% and 4%, which is the lowest setting in 3 years and down from a peak of around 5.4% that the central bank maintained for much of last year. So, what's your reaction there, Marcus?
I'll say it's goodish news, better news for people who are in the market to buy a home right now. It's probably going to the markets will probably react favorably if they haven't already to that. They probably already knew that it was going to be
coming down the pipeline.
So those guys. So I think I haven't looked at the markets today, but I'm sure they're up. So and sharply. But goodish news, the billionaires, they, like you and I talked about before, they're getting a break on the money that they're going to borrow against their money. So,
I mean, makes borrowing other people's money much easier and less expensive.
If you're in the market for a home now, you're getting a break, so
a little bit.
Not quite back down to where we saw in 2018, 2019.
Yeah, we bought this house. Yeah,
but we're slowly
talk about that, man. My wife and I were talking about that not long ago. We could not afford our house today because of where house prices have gone and where interest rates have gone.
Yeah, no, I mean, you and I joked about this before. I got an extremely low interest rate back when interest rates were really low, and then just looking at things like when they got up to like 5%. There's no way in heck I'd be able to, afford this home at that rate.
Adds $500 to your monthly payment.
Exactly.
It's insane.
That's literally taking food out of the kids' mouths, and that's just So
but
again,
it definitely speaks to where we are as a country, though. Cost of living, how much it costs for people to buy homes.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember it being not difficult, but obtainable for my dad to buy a home back in the day, and he was a single dad.
Yeah, back in those days, you could afford to live off of one salary still. I mean, not like earlier times, but you could still make ends meet. I mean, looking at just the price of everything nowadays.
It's insane.
It's hard to get in to the point where they can see each other, much less meet. So,
Yeah.
Again,
I know.
that
You would think things
help
being
home buyers, people who are in the market, so
you would think, things like high prices on goods would be something that could unite Americans, but I guess we're not there yet.
Not quite there yet.
But there are some people united, and right now it seems like the Dodgers and the Blue Jays are pretty united. It's been a good series so far. They are tied. I believe it's 2-2, right?
2-2, yeah.
So this is turning out to be a pretty good World Series.
You know me, man. With these games, especially if my team's not in it, I'll usually check in around game 6 or 7, to see. And this looks like that series that'll probably go all the way, So I'm definitely going to be watching some of those games.
Still rooting for the Blue Jays.
Last week or the week before, I'd like to see LA win it, as I'm sure you would. But
I wouldn't mind, but I'm still rooting for the Blue Jays. I just, as a Lions fan,
story, man. I get it.
As a Lions fan, hasn't seen our team in a Super Bowl, it's like I appreciate teams that it's been decades since they've been in the dance, the big dance there. So yeah, man, I'd love to see them win it. But of course, if Dodgers win it, I'll be happy.
You're gonna be fine either way.
I'll be fine either. Like you said, my team is the Tigers, so I'm gonna be fine either way. But so in this instance, I kind of tend to go for the underdog. I like to see the people that haven't won it before get it.
I mean, I always want to see the Braves win it, but that's me.
Well, yeah,
I'd love to see Atlanta when we switch over to football get one. We had a shot, we had a pretty good chance, and then we blew it. So
speaking of blowing things,
yeah,
was that a bad transition? Be honest, Marcus.
We're talking about the wind blowing.
We're talking about the wind, which, as we have smiles on our faces,
as far as segues go,
probably not the best segue, because it is serious. There's been loss of life in Jamaica and the other countries that have been hit. I believe Cuba in the Bahamas area is getting hit right now, but the storm, I believe, has decreased from a 3 down to a 2 now. So, God willing, the damage won't be too bad to the remaining areas. But Jamaica and the Caribbean definitely got the worst of it. And, yeah, man. So if you're somebody that can, donate anything, know any organizations that are helping those folks, they're definitely going to need it. Because that just...
5's touching down in the state before, and it never quite was that bad. But Jamaica got the
those videos
5,
are
so
it's bad. And the worst part is that Trump is refusing to unlock FEMA disaster aid for blue states who qualify for it. So as we're watching other countries get decimated, it's important to remember that we have states that are having issues, and the federal government, who takes all our tax dollars, no matter what state you live in, is refusing to, in my opinion, do their job and help the American citizens and the cities and the states recover from these things. I mean, what's your take?
It just pisses me off, all of this, BS that he's doing around sending troops into states because crime is so bad and they need it. Well, these same states, when hit with the disaster, that's a true need. That's quantifiable when you've got families who've lost their homes and have nothing and are having to start over from scratch. I mean, that's overwhelming. So just another way for him to make things about him, not about people, and that's what Americans. So that's more of the same.
That's the part that pisses me off the most, is that this is just another example of why you don't put somebody in charge whose only level is attack. Attack, hold things, prevent my enemies, or his perceived enemies at least, from getting things. It's like, when you're president of a country, we all have our political bias, but when you ascend to that type of position, you're supposed to make decisions for everybody.
It's
And
beyond red or
granted,
blue.
we're all not going to be happy with every decision, and being president, you got to make some tough ones. I acknowledge that. But at the end of the day, that's not what this man is doing. This man is using his power to attack anybody that did him wrong or that continues to talk bad about him, and is withholding money. By the way, tax dollars
Taxpayer
that
dollars.
we have paid into.
Taxpayer dollars.
I just don't know how anybody could be okay with this.
Yeah, no, it's, as president, you're supposed to be above, I won't say politics because all presidents play politics, but you're supposed to be above the Republican or Democrat. You are the president of all Americans, whether they voted for you, didn't vote for you, didn't vote at all. You're the president of them.
Yeah,
that's your charge. You swear that oath to support and defend the Constitution, all Americans, full stop. And this guy, he's never had, I don't even know what to call it. He's such a narcissist that he can't consider anyone else's struggle or plight in life other than his own. It's all about making him money and his family more money. And that's what it's all been about for him. He attacks Republicans too, who will stand up those few times that they do stand up and say,
which some of them are
this
now.
is wrong.
Yep.
We're seeing more and more of those stories come out.
Finding myself agreeing with Rand Paul this week made me just kind of,
Rand Paul,
kind of upchuck a little bit. But here I was sitting there shaking my head going, but this is what we talk about, right? Like
we'll get to that issue where Rand Paul disagreed with him. I mean, I disagree with him as well. But
it's like, isn't this what we talked about? Isn't this what we talk about on the show every week? That at some point, we're all going to have to look at each other and be like, yeah, I don't agree with you on a lot of stuff. But right now, we have a bigger problem. And if we don't all come together and look at each other and be like, I don't care how you voted. I don't care what you thought a year or two ago. Let's talk about right now. And right now, if we don't fix this, we're not going to have White House left. Like, you think the East Wing's going to be where he's going to stop?
No. Can't keep kicking that can down the road saying,
no, sir.
He didn't come after me this time. He came after trans kids. He didn't come after me this time.
Preach.
He came after black people.
Preach.
He didn't come after me this time. He came after Democrats and people who are on SNAP or
libs,
blue states. Eventually, he's going to come after you.
Well, let me ask. In my opinion, he's already coming after all of us. He's coming after Americans.
No,
this shutdown,
throw in free speech and things like that. Yeah, he's coming after all Americans. I mean,
but just this shutdown.
But I'm talking about how people can justify it in their minds, the cognitive dissonance to say, insane. He's not. It's not us. He's doing what he said he was going to do. Or blah blah blah.
This is what I voted for. I see that one every day.
Oh yeah.
But I saw this post, and I can't take credit for it. It's somebody else's words, but it basically said, if you're reading this post, you are likely a lot closer to getting SNAP benefits than you are to being a millionaire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen that one too.
And I was like, that should make all of us take a second and go, we're all in the same boat.
That's 99% of Americans.
It's 99% of us.
Again, if you're counting your dollars at the end of each month,
that's you.
Waiting for the next paycheck, that's you.
That's you.
You're closer to receiving SNAP. And look, I've been there before. I've been there before.
We're still there. Like,
I use SNAP benefits. I've had to, in between jobs and missions, coming back from Afghanistan, waiting for
a lot of soldiers have had to use SNAP benefits.
Hey, I had to do it. Yep. I knew people in the government when I was working for the government during the last shutdown. That was 35 days. People were on SNAP, and these were government employees.
Yep. And that's my thing too. I don't think, Trump supporters, what Republicans, I don't think they realize a lot of people that are on, SNAP benefits have jobs.
Yeah.
Like these aren't people. These aren't all people sitting at home trying to game the system.
Military
members
who are actively serving
are using these benefits.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. So when you shut the government down and you refuse to feed 40 plus million Americans, and you're using it as a political tool, and you are in control of the White House, the House of Representatives, the Senate, the Supreme Court, a lot of federal judge positions, it's really hard for me to sit here and watch you all point your finger at the Democrats and say, this is Chuck Schumer's shutdown, this is the Democrat shutdown.
Shutdown. Hell, they were running commercials on it on the air during games. And
it's crazy.
Trying to run them on airlines as well, but
yeah,
they put the kibosh on that. But how can you blame Democrats when you control all three branches of government?
Yep. And pretty much the court system that any challenges will go up through.
Yeah. So to me, it's easy.
But this is the propaganda that they believe.
Yeah. And people fall for it hook, line, and sinker. And I'm just, I see the arguments on Facebook, and I'm just like, well, guys, really?
Do you see it a lot in Georgia?
Yeah, I see it a lot in Georgia.
Like personal conversations.
Oh, personal conversations. Not personal conversations. I see the arguments going on Facebook. People that I actually know.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the dialogue back and forth in the comment section. I'm not talking about people that I don't know. I've never had anything to do with it. I don't get involved in those because it kind of be a little bit unfair. So I just watch them, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like one of the big things, I'll give you an example. I'm seeing this graphic on Facebook lately with who receives SNAP benefits. It goes down, Black, white, Latino, and it breaks it down by nationality. And there's like, Germans, Austrians, Swiss, people who are living in America or residents or citizens, and it breaks it down, and that got the argument going. And I'm like, okay. And I saw that one that you said, if you're reading this and you agree with this, you're probably closer to being on SNAP than being a billionaire.
Yep.
I just look at the comments. These are people I know having these conversations, and I'm just following. You got people who were like, well, it's the Democrats' fault. I'm like, no. Yeah. How is it?
Because Trump said so.
We don't have a Democratic president. We don't have a Democratic Senate. We don't have a Democratic House. And
and you have a Speaker of the House and President.
You don't have Democrats or Republicans, but you do have conservatives and liberal justices. And right now, I'll say it again, this is an activist court, bought and paid for by the Federal Society. Full stop. So here's where we are.
And we're basing that off of we're not basing that off of political opinion. We're basing that off of their decisions. We're basing that off of their actions as judges. Yeah. So I think that's an important distinction. But you also said something there that kind of made my ear perk up.
Before you go on.
Yeah, please.
Lost here is this is about healthcare.
Yes, sir.
Keeping people's healthcare premiums from skyrocketing.
Yep. Particularly 65 and over, retirees, disabled people. Like that's what the Democrats are preventing right now.
Not red or blue America, but Americans.
Americans. Because again, do you think it's just liberals and Democrats that are on SNAP benefits? You think it's 44 million liberals and Democrats?
We talked about this last week, Ryan.
Come on, man.
More people in red states.
Statistically speaking, that's accurate.
Benefits and the ACA in the marketplace.
Yep.
Than people in blue states.
Statistically speaking, that's accurate.
And it was broken down by Democratic voters and Republican voters.
Context matters, man.
Yeah, I mean, it does.
Now, thankfully, they've pulled their crap together, and troops will get paid. My wife, as a retiree, got paid today. So, thankfully, it seems like our troops and stuff and retirees will get paid military-wise. But that said, we're fortunate. There are a lot of Americans out there that aren't going to be getting their SNAP benefits, that aren't going to be getting their paychecks or their retirement checks because of what's happening. And I just, like Marcus said, and I'm so glad you added that, the Democrats are fighting for us, not liberals, they're fighting for Americans right now, and particularly the people that need the help the most. Those people that are 65 and over, they've paid into our system for decades, like most of them. And now we're telling them that we're not going to give you what you paid into?
We're going to renege on that promise.
I have a big problem with that.
When I was 16 years old and got my first job and was expecting to get, I'm working, whatever it was, $3.75 an hour. I think that was what minimum wage was back then. Maybe it was $3.50, $3.15 or something like that. I was expecting, hey, I worked, it's like 20 hours in my first job a week. So I was expecting X amount of dollars, and I didn't get that. And I'm like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
Oh,
who took 25% of my money?
Welcome to the world of paying taxes. You see this? Yep. This is money you're giving to the government that you're going to get back when you retire.
Yep.
Okay. I can live with that. You can't renege on that.
I just
can't renege on that.
Again, more than 24 states are suing this administration now because of these decisions. Yeah. The fact that states are having to even waste the money to pay lawyers and whoever to do this is infuriating. Like, they're wasting money that they could be using to send out SNAP benefits.
There you go.
There
you go.
It makes me want to bang my head against the wall.
Yeah, it's it's easy to attack Democrats or the other party.
Really easy.
Not the ones who are governing.
Yep.
But then when you get power, you got to govern.
Amen.
And I'm sorry, Republicans, you're not governing right now.
Yeah. For your people or Americans.
Yeah, you got people on your side who believe in divided government. And they believe in divided government because no party should go unchecked. Who's running it, everything.
Correct.
You've got to compromise. You've got to sit down and negotiate in good faith. And trying to take away the healthcare premiums that are or the subsidies that are in the ACA just so you can destroy the ACA. That's not negotiating in good faith and then saying Democrats are shutting down the government.
Yep. Because
they're trying to protect Americans.
But more importantly, we have Trump on video refusing, not just Trump, Speaker Johnson, all of them. They're saying that they are refusing to even negotiate.
Yeah.
I thought you guys put him in office because he was this great deal maker.
That's it.
So let me get this straight.
What happened to that?
Trump has time to go travel around the world for his Nobel Peace Prize tour and do all these peace deals that are bullshit because the one in Gaza between Israel, that one already imploded. He's so busy doing that, making all these other deals. Hey, Donald Trump, how about you come back here and make deals for the American people instead of for your own personal ego trip?
Sit down as the standard bearer for your party and make your guys sit down at the table.
Get it done.
And negotiate in good faith to get it done.
Yep. That's what you were voted in for.
I mean, we're on track to have the longest government shutdown ever.
Yeah,
and back when this thing first started, you asked me how long did I think it was going to go. And I told you, I said I think it'll be pretty long.
Yeah,
I think it'll beat the last one.
But there are some small shines of light, I guess you could say, on the horizon. So the Ninth Circuit Court decided last night that they're going to rehear the case that gave Donald Trump basically carte blanche to send in the National Guard and control the National Guard in Portland. Right. And basically, I think after the week-long uproar from many, they decided, okay, we're going to rehear it. And oh, by the way, we're also going to vacate the other decision we made, which is now going to revert everybody back to the decision that was made from the lower court telling Donald Trump to kick rocks. So in my opinion, it looks like very likely that the Ninth Circuit Court is going to reverse course and tell Donald Trump, sorry, you can't do that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's the way it's supposed to be, the way I interpret things.
I mean, and how we interpret it aside, It was all made up bullshit. There's no crime or anything in cities that justify this.
Unless frogs twerking is a crime now.
You know, frogs and I saw one.
Dinosaurs, clowns. It was beautiful.
Yeah, so frogs and unicorns twerking. I guess that's considered.
The best one I saw yesterday was they had, and this might have been in Chicago, but I guess they had a bunch of people salsa dancing outside of one of the ice facilities. Yeah. And so everybody's taking is like, don't these people have jobs? And it's like, oh, now you're upset because they're showing up and not destroying anything.
Dancing.
They're dancing.
I mean,
like we're doing clown balloons and dancing, and you people are still losing your minds trying to justify sending the military in. It's like you don't even understand the visual that has been created. Like you are so overreacting and overstepping your power. And the liberals or I'm just going to call them rational Americans at this point, are now making you look stupid.
That's it. Capturing the narrative.
Like, stay home.
Just flipping that stuff on its head.
Because it's only going to get worse. Like, the more they get upset from the dancing and the clowns and the dinosaurs and the frogs showing up, just more frogs are going to show up. Please keep being upset.
I see it time and time again. The fuck your feelings crowd.
They got a whole lot of
feelings about.
Got a lot of feelings.
Things that are,
You said something bad about Charlie Kirk. We're gonna get you fired.
Yeah. Okay. What are you gonna do, people? It's nuts.
I know.
We've got more important things to be focused on, like saving democracy and taking care of people.
Yep.
Than
Trump's little trade wars. I think that's something we should probably focus on a little bit. I don't even know what to do with this. This dude is going after Canada now because isn't it because they posted a video of Ronald Reagan?
He got his feelings hurt because there was the video of Ronald Reagan saying how basically shitty tariffs were, and how it hurts us in the long run, and we end up paying for that. So
and they said that it was fake.
Yeah.
Well, what the problem was is that it wasn't fake. It was a recording from a radio address that he was recording.
Exactly.
Oopsie.
Yeah.
And I also challenge everybody, while we're talking about Ronald Reagan really quick, do yourselves a favor. Please go on YouTube, Google, AI, whatever, and just type this sentence in. The last address Ronald Reagan gave in the White House before he left. And do me a favor and watch that video. And then take that video and post it under every Trump post it under every Republican that comes out and says something about immigrants and deporting everybody and get rid of them and America first. Because what you're going to see is Ronald Reagan talk about immigrants, immigrant labor, immigrant culture is what makes America great. Immigrants is what we all were. And when you watch that, then I want to see you all come out here and use Ronald Reagan as your guiding light of Republican and Christian values. Because while I had plenty of issues with Ronald Reagan, he was one of those conservatives that I could at least get down with on several issues, and this being one of them. So it's interesting to me that somebody that you guys all claim to worship, we continue to find videos and radio addresses and everything of him saying exactly the opposite of what you all worship and hold true today.
This brand of MAGA and Christian nationalism, it's not conservatism.
No,
at its core. I mean, when I look at conservatism and think about conservatism, I think about guys like John McCain and what Lindsey Graham used to be. Back in the days, I met Lindsey Graham with John McCain in Baghdad, and so I used to look at those guys as like, okay, they're old school conservatives. I wouldn't agree with everything John McCain said policy wise, but I knew he was a decent man. sit and talk with him for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And you could see, all right, this is a good guy. He'll sit and joke with you, and he's got that military flair, kind of like I do. You know how we joke with each other.
Yep.
It's brutal and relentless sometimes, and I could see a little bit of that in him. So I was like, this is a decent guy. He may not agree policy-wise, but he's decent.
A lot of them
tries to do the right thing.
So many people, even today, man, like people that I know are Trumpers, and you talk to them, it's like we have so much more in common than we don't. Like when you
always
leave
been
all
the case.
It really is, man. Like when you leave the political bullshit out and you just have a conversation with people, and you're like, if I didn't know you were a Trump supporter, like we'd probably get along. But knowing what you're willing to vote for, I just can't set that aside. Like that's just where I'm at. I mean, again,
for me, it's different. It's a little different for me because I live in a district and I grew up in an area where it's predominantly red.
Yeah.
So I've known these people, coming up as a kid. I went out into the world, came back in. Now I'm back basically in the same. I'm an hour from where I grew up. It's where I live now. And it's, these people, they're good people, their hearts, and I believe most people are good. It's being misled in the echo chambers that they get in this, some of them, this Christian nationalism stuff, they're listening to this stuff in the pulpit. And we talked about this when we had April on, how it's hard to break away from that craziness when you're learning these things from people that you love.
And that you're being told you should look up to. Yeah.
Trust, people that you're told you should look up to, like, hey, your pastor, your mother, father, figures,
teachers, coaches.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's just not the way, it's not the truth. And it's a hard thing to break away from that and say, and that's bullshit. That's not the way it is. And, and if you just did a little bit of researching and getting out of your comfort zone a little bit, you would see that. And I'm not right about everything. I'm not. I tell people I've been wrong about a great many things in my life. However, not about this.
Yeah, I wish I'd been wrong about more of this.
Yeah. Not about how we should look after each other. I mean, you guys believe the same things I do. Jesus believed in taking care of the least of these.
Yeah.
And that's what I focus on when I'm in the Bible, is I focus on the red words, the teachings of Jesus. And this ain't what he taught.
Brother, I don't know how anybody who is cheering on, saying, oh, it's smaller government, but taking food off of 44 million Americans' plates and call themselves pro-life. And that's always been my issue with you pro-life, anti-abortion people, is if you guys actually wanted to take care of those kids and take care of Americans, I really probably wouldn't have as much of a problem with it. My issue becomes is you guys are forcing women and families to have these kids and have no actual health care. And then as soon as that kid's born, you look at them and go, have fun trying to afford health care, putting them through school, feeding them at school. Like, that's all on you. And by the way, if you ever do start to struggle, we're not going to give you SNAP benefits. And not only that, we're going to look at you and point our finger at you and chastise you and tell you that you should go get a better job or a second job or whatever it is. Yeah. So is this the new American dream? Did I miss something?
I mean, what is the American dream now? What does that even mean nowadays?
Apparently putting tariffs on Canada to just keep pissing them off. Yeah. So again, we have the child in chief, Donald Trump, who said he is adding 10% additional tariffs on goods imported from Canada after the province of Ontario aired an anti-tariff advertisement featuring Ronald Reagan. He called the advertisement a fraud and lashed out at Canadian officials for not removing it ahead of the World Series baseball championship.
He got in his feels. He got big mad because he saw it during
this is the leader of the free world.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and
like,
if I'm Prime Minister Ford, I'd say, screw it. We're going to leave it up. I think he kind of backed
they pretty
down
much did. They said, no, what they said was, why we hope America will eventually get their shit figured out, we are in the meantime going to go and start finding other trade partners to basically make up for what they're losing with us. So again, in case I need to, paint the.
I think he said something about letting it go during this summit, right? Am I wrong on that? All this summit's going on and they're traveling overseas.
Maybe, yeah. I think you might be right. Yeah. But it's like when they go start, and I'm not even talking about Canada. Every country, Mexico, every country that is currently getting screwed by our trade war tariff agenda, they are right now, right at this minute, somebody is on their phone with another country trying to set up a trade deal with them so that they don't have to deal with us again. And if you think that when we get rid of Donald Trump and the MAGA people and manage to get adults back at the table again, if you think that those countries are just going to look at those new trade partners and say, "Oh, America's back. We'll see you later." I got a bridge in San Francisco I own that I'd love to sell you.
And guys, I guarantee you a lot of those trade deals are going to China.
Oh, 100%. So when Donald Trump talks about making China, less powerful, less influential, and all those things, what's actually happening is what Marcus just said. They are becoming more powerful and getting more resources because they are now getting the money from the trade deals. They are now getting the resources from the trade deals that we used to get. And Donald Trump is covering for it by every once in a while saying, "Oh, we got this great mineral deal done with Ukraine or whoever." Great, but you've lost like 10 fucking trade deals.
Yeah, and China, I guess she and Trump are about to meet. Yeah, she's like, "Hey, you've done us a real solid with this trade thing. So yeah, we may be willing to negotiate some kind of deal because you're only helping us more. You've already made us billions of more dollars.
Yeah,
because now people are looking at us as the adult in the room. We're the superpower now. Well, America's quickly becoming that shithole country Trump used to talk about.
I'm gonna say this just because I keep thinking it. For those of you who follow me, you know that I'm very open that I was diagnosed bipolar, like 8 years ago. And it was right around the time that Trump was in office, his first, whatever. And in that amount of time that I've, been fortunate enough to become level, take my medications, have great therapy because I have good health care. I look at Trump, Mike Johnson, and a lot of the Republican Party and what they post every day, the things that they say to the cameras when they walk out of the Capitol. And I find myself saying this to myself a lot. I'm bipolar, and I don't act that way. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Like,
they're narcissistic.
And please, if it is something that can be treated, unfortunately, I'm not sure narcissists.
I don't think you can treat narcissism.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can treat that.
I don't know. I'm not a healthcare professional,
but like Marjorie Taylor Greene, she comes off as somebody that's bipolar to me. Like, she drinks a lot of wine. She might want to trade that in for some SSRIs because they did wonders for me.
No.
The point being is, I'm also very familiar with self-medicating. Because when you don't know what's going on and you're not on the right medications, you find whatever you can to make what's going on go away.
Yeah.
Whether it's alcohol, whether it's pills, whatever it is. And the one thing that I am very good at spotting is when somebody's acting off. Whether it's Adderall, doesn't matter what it is. If once you kind of learn to spot the telltale signs, it is. Yeah. So, prime example, when you see somebody reach into their pocket and then put their finger in their mouth and rub their gums like this, they just put something in, just put a nice little powdery substance in their mouth and they rubbed it on their gums to get it to kick in faster.
Like they do in the movies, which, that's the only time I see that. So,
when Donald Trump gets up to the microphone and he can't put together all the sentences because what's happening is when you have something in your system like Adderall, your brain is like going ting, 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 especially if you don't actually have ADHD. Okay? So it's easy to spot him. And it's easy to know that he's actually snorting it because when you hear him speak, you can hear the deviated septum and him constantly having to clear that. So, again, there are people in this administration, why they simultaneously blow up drug boats in international waters without any kind of approval from any country, including ours.
How about
He's
Congress?
pardoning drug traffickers while half of his administration and his family are clearly on booger sugar or something else.
No.
Like we've got Robert F. Kennedy, who was a 14-year intravenous heroin user, who is now telling us that vaccines cause and Tylenol cause autism. And by the way, sat in front of Congress and told us, the American people, that he's not a doctor and we shouldn't listen to him. People, I'm not making this shit up. Marcus and I are not making this up. Like, this is, we're living a clown show. Like, we're living an episode of South Park, but not a good episode.
No.
Like, it's like The Simpsons, but worse. You know, it's really like watching a cartoon. Because I watch Trump speak and I'm like, this is a world leader. And world leaders are watching this. He's walking world leaders up to a merch stand outside of the Oval Office and handing them Trump 2028 hats as he pushes having a third term and is now telling us that he sees a path where J.D. Vance could become president with him as the vice president, and then J.D. Vance just steps out and he becomes president again. And I told you what would happen when this presidency comes down, whether it's at 4 years or Trump has to resign, they're going to put J.D. Vance in, and J.D. Vance is going to pardon Donald Trump for everything, just like Gerald Ford did for Nixon. And Donald Trump's going to ride off into the sunset.
I mean, look, guys, you don't have to take our word for it. Listen to Steve Bannon and Stephen Miller talking about it.
Tell them.
These are these guys in the know. They know what's going on. All of these things that Steve Bannon said that were going to happen and then happen because he's still in the know with these guys.
Yes, sir.
He's going to try and run for a third term, or there won't be an election. They're going to try and figure out how to subvert the Constitution. They're going to.
He's already floated it. He's already floated canceling elections because of a war. He's already floated it.
Yeah, and they're trying to. That's what all the sending National Guard into.
Thank you.
Cities in blue states.
Thank you.
Try to get something so they can have a reason to invoke the Insurrection Act and say, "Look, see, we told you."
Yep. And for all you white folks out there on the right who keep asking the question, why is it only white people out there? Because the black folks aren't going to show up and allow themselves to be used as an escalation tool. That's number one. Number two, if you go look at the voting exiting polls, 80+% of black women and black men voted for Kamala Harris, the highest of any demographic. So when you say people need to do their part, black folks have been doing their part. In my opinion,
we're still doing it.
You're still doing your part, but you're doing it in other ways.
People showing up at these special elections and these
that's helping
races that are going out. They're showing up in numbers right now.
Exactly.
So that's
but they're not showing up to allow themselves to be used to escalate what is already happening. And that, in my opinion, you are doing something. You're doing something by staying home. Because I know there are a lot of black folks out there, a lot of black Americans that want to be out there. And some of them are still showing up because they refuse to stay home. And I love that and applaud them. But again, I 100% understand why folks are staying home because they see what's happening. I see what's happening. They're going out there they're starting to gas people. And I'm going to tell you something else my wife and I noticed. Our entire neighborhood used to decorate for Halloween. I'd say at least 70, 80% of the houses.
Oh, man.
There's one house decorated.
It's funny you mentioned that because my neighborhood is looking the same way this year.
One. And my wife and I were like, and we drove around and we're like, it's like this everywhere. Yeah. And we're like, why is that? And then this morning I woke up.
My wife and I were talking about that too, the amount of candy we have to buy for these. I mean, we have a daycare and all of that stuff, but
yeah,
there's a lot of candy that we're buying. And hell, I thought candy was expensive before.
Yeah. I was a little sticker shocked at the bags of candy too.
It's, we're And I was the guy who'd be like, my wife would always get like, she'd grab like 4 or 5 bags of candy. I was like, we're gonna run out before these kids stop coming.
And then you end up with 2.
I'd go get more.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking this year it's probably gonna be like $700 or $800 worth of candy to give to these kids. That is ridiculous.
It's really interesting because I woke up this morning and I saw police officers and ICE gassing streets in Chicago. And there were Halloween events going on. And I looked at that this morning and it was like the light bulb went off. I said, that's it. I said, most people either 1, they don't feel safe taking their kids out right now. 2, they don't want them going up to houses that they don't know because people are getting shot through the door just for knocking on the door and doing knock knock ditch or whatever it was.
Ding dong ditch.
Ding dong ditch. Getting shot doing that. The fact is if you look around right now, the biggest evidence you can see that the American people right now are scared to go out of their fucking homes is the fact that they are afraid to let their kids go trick-or-treating. And even us, for 6 years, I have decorated our house and been Michael Myers, and I scare the crap out of the kids. I used to love doing it. And we didn't even decorate this year. And at first it was because I just was like, I'm not doing it. I just don't want to deal with it. And then, I coached my kid's soccer team. So all of us parents kind of started talking and we were like, what if we just all got together, in a neighborhood with the whole team and we all just did our thing. And so that's kind of what we all decided to do. We found a place that's, pretty safe and everything. And so that's what we're doing this year. And that's very different from what we normally do. And it's like us parents were talking. It's like, yeah, if we're all together, we feel more, more safe. There's more adults around watching the kids, whatever.
Kind of what we got going on too.
Yeah.
A bunch of companies came together and we're putting together a little thing for the kids. So
we did a trunk or treat last night here in Tucson. Oh man, I wish I remembered the karate place, but fire department showed up. The cops all showed up handing out candy to the kids. They were great. This karate dojo here in Tucson threw this great trunk or treat and the kids loved it. So we took, again, the whole team showed up and we just all went through the trunk or treat together. And so, I mean, we're finding ways around it.
To your point,
people are finding ways.
I almost forgot Halloween was Friday, brother.
Yep.
Because of the lack of decorations that I've seen here lately, and I get it.
It doesn't feel like it, does it?
I get it. It just doesn't feel like that. I mean, this is,
is this the end?
Grew up in small towns, man. You're used to that. Everybody having their decorations out. It's festive. We're not as festive as we used to be anymore.
Nope.
Because of all of this division bullshit that's going on in our politics and in our media. It's just not what it used to be. And even I do it sometime, long for nostalgia and the good old days, but it's for stuff like this, like holidays where kids are supposed to be out having fun and you got decorations out everywhere. Our kids aren't getting that anymore.
I know. It sucks because that was a fun part of growing up. But
it was.
But at the same time, what I've learned too? Kids don't miss something that they never had.
Yeah, that's true. You can't miss.
We miss it because we miss grabbing our pillowcase, ripping our pillow out of it, and then running out and getting as much as you could, going home, dumping the pillowcase out, and then going around again, switching your mask with a buddy so that you could hit the houses with the good candy, like all those things.
Debate about Gen Xers and Boomers and shit. So
I just I miss. It sucks for me that the kids aren't going to have that same experience, but I know that they're making their own experiences, and they're clearly not alone because, everybody's doing these trunk or treats or businesses are coming together, to make sure that their communities have places for the kids to go. And again, I'm going to post the name of the karate place in the comments when we get done because they were just amazing. Their dojo was really nice and clean. I'd never been there, and their prices, I asked them their prices since we were there. Like, it was like $100 and they can go every day if they want. I was like, that's actually really good. So, thank you to the community members, not just mine, Marcus's, everybody out there who, going to a trunk or treat or doing something to make sure that the kids can still enjoy Halloween. We need to all have some fun, and I need this for me to see all these kids dressed up, having fun. Like, it just does my heart good. So I'm also happy we're going to have, our parents for our soccer team around. And, so hopefully everybody else can enjoy your community as well this weekend. And, yeah, man, I
miss that too. I haven't been able to coach soccer lately. I used to coach soccer.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
I miss being able to do that kind of stuff. So
I like the connections we made. Like, I love the games, and I'm definitely like competitive and want to win. But also, like, we've made some good friends with like the parents, and that part's been really nice. And the relationship that I've been able to build with the kiddos, like it's just they invite me to their birthday parties or whatever, and we go, and it's like I never thought I would have been that dad. I never would have guessed. I thought I would have been like maybe a dad that would sit there and watch, maybe, but I definitely never thought I'd coach. But now that I have, I definitely see why people, donate their time and do that, because it is rewarding. It's rewarding knowing that the kids are having fun, that they're coming somewhere. I know that when they're on the soccer field with me, for practice and for games, they're not out in the streets doing something stupid. And I also know that they're not getting bullied when they're on my field, because that's something we all demand. I tell them every week, I said, y'all deal with that crap at school and everywhere else. I said, you're not going to deal with it here. Y'all are a team. You're going to treat each other that way, and you're going to be good sportsmen to the other team. I go, because you don't need all this crap out on the field. So, it's been really rewarding. It's something that I'm sure when the kids grow up, I'll miss doing, for sure.
You will. Yeah, I miss it now. And not all of my kids are growing up, but I've got one.
It's going too fast, man. It's going way too fast.
Yeah.
But I also just want to cap off what we were talking about and say, again, there are tools that we have in place to remove Donald Trump from office.
Yep.
To nonviolent, legal ways for us to remove him. And that is, one, 25th Amendment.
You got to impeach him. Or impeach him.
Yeah. Or you impeach him. But the problem with impeachment is you got to have enough senators with the courage to vote yes on the conviction.
Yes.
Because if the House passes it like they did twice, and then it gets to the Senate and they stall it, then it really doesn't matter, because, yeah, he was impeached, but he wasn't convicted, so we didn't get any of the benefits of the impeachment, which would have been him being removed from office and never being able to run again. That's the key. Like, I blame Republicans. You guys could have sent this dude into the retirement home permanently, and we could have moved on as a country. But no, you guys valued your donors, your positions, and your power more than you did doing right and actually supporting the Constitution and getting rid of that domestic terrorist and convicted felon.
Now that you have power, you're not doing anything with it. You're presiding over what's probably going to be, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong here, but what's probably going to be the longest shutdown in government history. We're not far from that right now.
It's going to happen, and it better happen. And what I mean by that is, again, I'm going to say it every week on this show. Democrats, do not cave.
Yeah.
We've come this far. Do not cave.
Keep fighting for the American people.
Please, again, they're fighting for Medicare.
People.
They're not playing political games just to play them. They have told us very specifically why this is happening. And more importantly, there have been Republican voters that have come out online and they have showed us the receipts of what their medical coverage is projected to increase to after November.
Yes.
And it is insane.
2 or 3-fold sometimes.
Three times that. They're paying a house payment or more for medical coverage. And then on top of it, it costs $2,000 for an apartment. I mean, so you're paying $1,500 for medical coverage. You're paying $2,000 for an apartment that you don't own. You're paying $500 if you're lucky for a car, maybe. Gas. I'm sorry. How are these people supposed to eat?
Yeah, no. It's you and I've had this conversation before, man. I think it's criminal for people to be bankrupted by their medical bills and have to pay through the roof just to have,
And what did Democrats do? They made it so your medical bills couldn't be put on your credit report.
There you go.
What is Trump doing? Making it so they can do it again.
Yep. Trying to get rid of all of that. So,
But I do love that he's doing the student loan forgiveness. I have loved watching MAGA's heads explode over that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, did somebody finally explain the economic benefits of forgiving student loans to Donald Trump and some Republicans? Holy shit.
But now we're not talking about how paying for a barista to go to college for 4 years all of a sudden. So make it make sense.
Well, and again, every day I go on social media, I see Kristi Noem's advertisement saying, sign up for ICE now and get $50,000. Oh, so you mean that we could probably pay teachers and give people benefits to make them actually want to be educators.
Yeah.
So we could do that. But what we're seeing is our government showing us where their priorities are. And it's not the American people, it's not our children, it's not our teachers.
Yeah.
So what is it?
Trump and billionaires. Full stop.
Pretty simple. And speaking of Trump and douchebag billionaires, apparently they've decided that destroying parts of the White House is acceptable behavior now, without any kind of congressional approval or showing how it's going to be paid for.
Well, I guess we're doing everything without congressional approval.
Why have Congress?
I think, when you talk about the government being shut down and Trump just in the middle of the night saying, all right, I'm just going to knock the East Wing down. Or when you're talking about firing on boats in the Pacific and killing people because they're alleged
almost 40 people now.
They may be. However, what happened to rules of engagement? I'm pretty sure that exceeds his Article 2 powers when it comes to declaring war. I think that's in the Article 1 power for Congress, if I'm not mistaken. Well, who's he talked to said, okay, yeah, we can go to war. And they're calling it going to war with these, what do they call them, narco-terrorists? This is Pete Hegseth's language. We're at war with these narco-terrorists. And, I think there was a survivor from one of the boats that they got Mexico to take in. But, you're not showing us any evidence of the quote-unquote war on drugs with these people so that we can have our military out,
I sure haven't seen any justification for it.
Killing, probably foreign nationals. I didn't know foreign war with Venezuela or who else. I mean, war on drugs. That's
was it Venezuela called us out too? Called out the president for basically the illegal strikes.
So I think there are 51 people who are dead.
Is it 51? I thought it was like 48. Yeah, 48, 51. That's an insane amount of people that you've killed using our military without any type of authorization. And again, I want to remind
you're calling it a war. So
he straight up called it a war. And when asked if he was going to go to Congress to get approval, he was like, "No, I think we're just going to kill people." That's literally what he said.
That's basically what they're doing.
So here's a question I have for you, Marcus. Do you have an issue with criminals who are undocumented in our country being sent back to where they're from?
No.
I don't either. If you're a criminal, if you're sitting in jail or they pick you up and you're undocumented and you've done something crazy,
I have zero heartburn with that. Zero heartburn.
I will sleep just fine. Where I have a problem is when you're picking people up off of farms and they're not doing anything wrong. They've been here for years, sometimes decades, with no issues.
And they're going through the system. They're doing what they're supposed to do.
And a lot of them are trying to go through the system. It's just taking forever. Mm-hmm. And then you have them show up to court, and then you have the judge dismiss the case so that when they walk out, they're no longer protected by the court proceedings.
Exactly.
So for those of you who say, oh, they just need to do it the right way, they're trying, but you're setting traps for them.
What are these people supposed to do when they come in? And these aren't all asylum seekers. These are just people trying to come in and
yeah. Yep.
Live, and you get a court date 2 or 3 years out.
That's insane.
You're not supposed to work.
Yeah.
In that time frame. While you're waiting.
And you're going to tell me all these Americans wouldn't do exactly what these folks are doing?
So. Yeah.
So, it's just insane to me to see hardworking people be harassed, arrested, and deported when they really aren't doing anything wrong. Those, like, we should be walking on farms and being like, you guys have been here for 5 years? Come on, let's figure out how to get you guys at least a working visa until we figure this shit out. Because you clearly are contributing to our society. You're paying taxes in your cities and areas and all that. And yeah, we need to figure this out. And with that, I want to end with the peace in the Middle East, the Nobel Peace Prize tour that Donald Trump is currently on, while refusing to make deals here at home.
That's funny.
As we predicted here on this show, that we probably wouldn't even make it into November before this deal was done. And just done. Well, here we are, October 29th. It's 1 p.m. here on the West Coast, and the deal is pretty much done.
It's dead.
Israel and Gaza are back at it. So once again, this is a deal that fell apart within days or weeks. Trump continues to be a failure, and our country is crumbling while he's traveling around on our tax dollars trying to win a fucking prize for his ego.
Yeah, taking victory laps for things that never happened.
Or that he didn't do at all. So, brother, before we take off, you got anything?
I think I'm good for today, guys. Everybody enjoy your Halloween.
Yes, be safe
out there.
Have fun. Try and unplug this weekend. All of us need to have at least a day, man. Like, I know we're all fighting. I know we're all tired. We have to take care of ourselves and our mental health too, to make sure we can keep getting up every day and fighting. So enjoy your families. If you don't have much family, enjoy yourself. Take care of yourself. Spoil yourself. Go out and have fun. As an adult, put on a mask. Go get some candy. They won't know. Who cares? Have fun.
That's it.
But the point is, you guys showed up for the No Kings protest. I know there's going to be more protests coming up. So get involved in your areas. Get involved in your local politics. Send us names of people you want us to bring on the show. We'll go find them and give our microphone to them so that they can get their message out. But most importantly, as always, much love. Keep fighting. Stay safe out there. We'll see you next week.
God bless.